Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Sketch to See. I've got a lot of viewers that have written in and asked what we like to do on board and how we use our galley. So today I'm going to be making dinner for the entire crew, and I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like. But I'm going to highlight this one feature here that we did in our kitchen. See how much more space that just gave us for prep, setup, everything? Plate everything here for the entire crew. So what we're having tonight is not a normal dinner, but we have these wagyu M5 steaks that we got from our local supplier, and we are currently still sitting in a marina in Japan. So this is not normally what we eat underway, but it's one of my last days here, so I figured, you know what, mine as well. So the process is obviously get the steaks out, gently rinse them off, and then I will make the marinade, and we're going to have smashed potatoes, and I haven't decided what the other side is going to be yet, but it might be chipotle cream corn or something like that. I'm not entirely sure what we do have on board because we just finished a provisioning run. But over here, this is for the potatoes when they go in, and then we've got the sous vide going for the steaks, and they will be finished on the grill on the fly when we're ready to eat them. So the typical marinade that I like to do is pretty basic. It's just a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, tiny bit of soy sauce, and then Montreal steak seasoning. Just a little bit of that as well. I'm going to mix all of that up in a second once I get the rest of them open, but come over here and check this out. We've managed to free up so much more space in the galley that we can actually use these racks for everything else. So all the big boxes of all these spices and everything are actually in the sole. So anytime one of those runs empty, all we do is go into the sole and fill it back up, and at least we have an inventory of, we know where they are. Not where they are, but the status of how full or how empty they are. So I'm going to continue along with these steaks, and I'll include you in the next part of the process. Okay, the next part of the process is get all that water that we just rinsed off of these steaks, and try and wear as much of it as possible. In the bag, try and neatly organize them so they're all one layer. Take our little marinade that I made. In the bag. Move it around a little bit. Over to the sous vide machine. I haven't closed the bag yet because I want the weight of the water to press as much air out of it as possible so they can actually be submerged for the duration of their cooking time. Now that they are submerged, I can close the bag, and the sous vide is set to right now exactly 130 degrees. These steaks will stay in there, it's quarter to 3 in the afternoon. Those steaks will stay in there for, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours. You'll never have to worry about them overcooking, and then we will finish them on the grill upstairs. Yeah, I almost forgot the most important part of the process. And yes, I did change my shirt. But one of the other things that we've been up to is organizing everything that we have on board. So now that that process is done, we can actually use it and we know where everything is. How about that? What you didn't see in the background is I did clean this whole area after the steaks there, so now on to prepping the potatoes. But another unique thing about the Galley and how we use it is this sink setup in general. It came with these bins that are strainer bins. Then we have drying racks, and they fit on multiple different levels inside the actual sink. So this changes the functionality of this thing immensely, and it is just great to have. So wash potatoes as best as I can. So now that all the potatoes have been washed, the next part of the process is to choose your weapon. And you always want to slice them and leave them big enough so you can smash them later. Too big, they won't cook. And straight into the boiling water. And they need to be there for about 10 minutes or so. I have to get another potato because one of them was not good. Okay, they'll be there for the next 10 minutes and you'll magically appear when I'm taking them out. But meanwhile, these steaks are doing well in the background. The water's obviously still at the right temperature. All I'm doing now is just making sure that the marinade has actually got everywhere where I want it to go. And then drop it back in. And this I don't have to worry about until it's actually time to serve. Okay, so while the potatoes are still boiling away for another couple minutes, it's time to make the sauce for the potatoes. So olive oil, butter. I like the flavor of the combination that the two provide. Olive oil I find it just can be a little strange sometimes, but I like the creaminess of the butter. Then oregano, and as you can see, I'm clearly not measuring anything. I've made these potatoes way too many times. A little bit of onion powder, a little bit of seasoning salt. One thing I wish we have, and I have not been able to find between China and Japan, is celery salt. And then a little bit of chili flake. And tons of pepper. And then some regular salt. And then finally the garlic. And I'm intentionally doing this with a microplane because it will get it small enough, other than crushing it with the end of a knife, that it won't burn during the cooking process when I finish the potatoes in the oven. Okay, now that the potatoes have been boiled, this is again why I love this sink and galley setup. Pour them out. We're gonna let them cool off a little bit and then we'll get to the smashing part. So in the meantime, I am going to make chimichurri sauce. So what we have here is olive oil, parsley, oregano, cilantro, chili flakes, cumin, garlic, pepper, white wine vinegar, and my lovely little mini food pro here. So the parsley is the base, so there should be the most of it. And that's why I'm not going to add it all at once. Well, I'm going to add all the parsley at once, but I'm not going to add all of everything else at once. I know that we need this much garlic. Add most of the oregano. The oregano is pretty sensitive, so you don't want to overdo that, otherwise it'll be very, very strong. Pepper. I'm guessing that was about a tablespoon. I'll get my camera person to do the taste test. Probably helps, you know, if you
do that. And it's a little bit too thick, add a little bit more oil. That smells just about right. I don't like to over blend it because I don't like it when the actual sauce itself gets way too fine. So I try and do it as little as possible while making sure that it's properly mixed and blended. But there we go. Do that, and now we're on to smashing the potatoes. And just use a simple regular jar. Don't want to smash them too much because they have to be mixed, but it's all these little tiny edges here that you want to leave exposed. You want them to actually dry out. So I'm not going to put them in the sauce that we made earlier. I'm just going to set them on the oven rack. And if those pieces dry out properly, that's what you get, all the little tiny crispy edges that everybody looks for in potatoes. This one's already smashed itself. Thank you. That was very kind of you. And yeah, that's one more step of this process done for crew dinner. So as you can see, we're going to have dinner on the fly tonight. It is time to set the table. We don't have any of our table decorations or anything like that, so we're not going to win any awards anytime soon. And no, we don't have our nice napkins yet either. So it's paper towel. So now that the table's all set, we still got to bring the glasses up, but the steaks and everything else will be finished right here on the grill. All right, so the next part of the process, and I know I said I was making cream corn, but I was overruled and people decided they wanted bok choy instead. So I've just washed it. This is melted butter. This is a little bit of dark soy. And this is what I really hope is chili garlic, but I have no idea. So we will see what that is. It's a good thing I know that everybody here can eat spicy if they need to. And then pepper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix all that together, and then I'm going to quarter the bok choy, and then I'm going to baste it with my fancy little brush. And this is going to be finished on the grill upstairs right next to the steaks. So the point that everybody's been waiting for is now that these potatoes have actually dried out, they go back into that marinade that I made earlier. And now they're cold, like they're room temperature because they've been out for a while. And then I have to put silicone paper onto that tray. And I'm tossing them in that marinade right now, and that's why you have to be very careful not to break them up too much beforehand, because during this process they get broken up even more. But you want all of the oil and the marinade that we made to go into all those little nooks and crannies that we created by drying out and previously boiling the potatoes before. Okay, now that these are all mixed and I've got the cooking paper down on the tray, one thing you do have to be careful of is to make sure that they are spread out. Moisture is your enemy when you're trying to get crispy edges on the potatoes. And the oven is on convection bake right now at 450. So these will probably take about half an hour or so just to brown up. I don't want to use the broiler because they will burn too quick, and I don't have the ability to constantly be down here checking on them. So I will set a timer and we will go from there. Sweet. And then everything else gets finished upstairs. I'm going to turn off the sous vide machine right now. So I want these to cool down. They are all cooked. They're all at 130 degrees, which is medium rare. And they get finished on the grill upstairs. So that is what steak in a bag looks like. Not very flattering, but I'll let everybody else tell you how good it tastes. So next part of the process, up here on the grill, I did preheat the grill, and I got to get the bok choy on so it's nice and hot. Hopefully we get a nice little sear on here. All right, now that I've got a good sear, good char on this, the bok choy is done. Then I need the grill to heat back up so the steaks can go back on. No, the bok choy is not burnt, that is the soy sauce caramelizing. So now that, yeah, everybody's gonna start to be looking forward to this. And unfortunately, I know everybody's gonna comment on it, but the potatoes had to be finished in the oven, which is downstairs. So now I'm going to take the steaks out of the sous vide bag and individually place them on the grill. And I have to be very careful not to overdo these. This is really just to mark the steaks and make it look like they came off of a charred grill. They are already cooked all the way through. So I do have my little meat thermometer up here, and they take approximately 30 to 45 seconds on this heat to get the proper grill marks in. So what I've just done there is I just rotated the steaks about 45 degrees or so to get the proper hash marks on the other side. And they're going to continue to cook like this for probably another 30 seconds. And then I will flip them over for a very brief minute just to confirm that they are both the proper temperature and that the grill marks make them look tasty. And I'll show you what that looks like in a minute or two. All right, so that is what they look like with the proper grill marks. Come on, cooperate. That is perfect. So I'm just gonna take out the meat thermometer. So they were all cooked in the sous vide at 130 degrees, so it's perfect to take them out. I just wanted to confirm that they did not go past 130 degrees on the grill. So these are all done and ready to go and ready for service. And then shut off the grill, most important thing. And we have everything is all set on the table. Where's the rest of the crew? So this is the crew dinner that we have. We have steaks, bok choy, crispy potatoes, and homemade chimichurri sauce. This is not normally what we eat on a daily basis, but it's what we're eating today. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. We're gonna enjoy our dinner.